Good evening and welcome to the October 2nd, 2023 meeting of the City of Summit Zoning Board of Adjustment. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. On September 24th, the City of Summit lost former Mayor Ellen Dixon, who served on this board for 5 of her 25 years of service to Summit. At this time, I would ask that we all observe a moment of silence in memory of Mayor Ellen Kelly Dixon. Thank you. In accordance with New Jersey State Statute 10:4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to a newspaper of record and has been posted here at City Hall. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. For the benefit of the public and the benefit of the interested public, this meeting is being live streamed to the city's YouTube page and to Summit's government channels, which are Comcast 34 and Verizon Channel 30. There is also a transcript of this meeting being taken using the video and audio. So speakers all need to utilize one of the microphones in the room. We all have one up here, there are 3 there, so and one very close over there for speakers. Transcript of the meeting is important. Please notice that the fire exits are to my right, to your left, and at the back of the room where you entered. The city has an assisted listening system for the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain the system here at the dais and return it. Secretary Sulios, please call the roll of the members.
Sure. Chairman Spur is excused this evening. Vice Chairman Steiner.
Here.
Ms. Newell. Here. Mr. Gonzalez.
Here.
Mr. Mullen.
Here.
Mr. Millay.
Here.
Mr. Loikitz.
Here.
Ms. Toth.
Here.
Ms. Sager is excused this evening. Mr. Feskins.
Here.
Mr. Yuko.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. In order to assist a member of the legal community, we are going to kind of adjust the agenda real quick. And Jim Weber, you have something to present that's later on the agenda, but because you have an appearance in New Providence, you've asked if we move it up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
For the board members, this is 10 Sherman Avenue.
James Weber of Alfonso and Weber on 10 Sherman. We're requesting that this be carried without the need for further notice, with our agreement to extend the time within which the board may act on this matter. Our neighbor, or the applicant's neighbor, Mr. Joe Mormack, called up. They're out of town. They wanted to ask for the adjournment, and Ms. Parisi agreed, of course. And
I believe the date agreed to is October 16th.
That's correct.
Does that work for our purposes and our agendas? Yes. Are there any comments from the members of the board? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I believe we need a roll call.
Sure. Vice Chairman Steiner.
Yes.
Ms. Newell. Yes. Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Mullen.
Yes.
Mr. Millay.
Yes.
Mr. Loikitz.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. If I can, just for a moment, I remember Ellen Dixon, and I remember her as incisive, decisive, and she did not suffer fools very easily.
No, she didn't.
Good night.
Okay, back to the introductions. Andy Ball, sitting to my right, is the board's attorney. He will advise the board members on matters of law and is the key interface with the applicant's attorney. Mr. Ball does not vote on the applications. Stephanie Sulios, who's to his right, is a city employee and is the zoning board secretary. She works with the applicants on preparing their applications, planning our agendas, and keeping our meeting minutes. Ms. Sulios also does not vote on those applications. Also present is Dipti Sheath, our board's engineer, who is seated at the table in front of us to our right, your left. The audience, yeah, you would have seen somebody from our planners, but they're not here tonight because I don't think we have a need for them on that. But both of those individuals would provide input, but they do not vote on the applications. We generally hear the cases in the order that they are listed on the agenda. We try to have the hearings last no more than 30 minutes, but we do understand that some cases are too complex to be heard within that time frame. Each hearing begins with the applicant or their attorney giving an overview of the application and the variances that are required. We then hear from any expert witnesses that the applicant may have to help explain the applications and why the variances are needed. Board members may ask questions of the applicant, their attorney, and the expert witnesses. Before you ask your questions, please clearly state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address. It is important that our court reporter is again able to keep a clear and accurate public record. After all the witnesses have been heard, members of the audience will have their second opportunity to speak, and at that time, you'll be sworn in and you will have the opportunity to express your opinion, positive or negative, about the application. The public hearing is then closed and we enter into executive session where board members discuss the case and vote. You'll be able to listen to our executive session, but you will not normally be able to participate in that discussion. Krista Anderson, the city zoning officer, has asked that we remind all applicants that they must read carefully the resolution that documents the zoning board's decision and pay particular attention to the conditions contained in that resolution. For example, if a landscaping plan is required, you must obtain one and submit it to John Linson, the city's forester. If a grading plan is required, you must have one prepared by a civil engineer and submit 3 copies along with the application fee to the city's engineering division. Failure to satisfy all the conditions in a resolution will result in a delay in approving your application, as it will cause extra work for city zoning staff. The resolutions documenting the board's decision will normally be available 1 month after we decide the case. So now we're going to go and bring up each applicant in order just quickly to get a sense of how many witnesses you have and whether or not you can do it in 30 minutes. And the first one, we took care of number 1. So number 2 is Amitha Kumar and Sachin Deb. Would you come to the podium and tell us how many witnesses do you have, and do you think you can do it in 30 minutes?
If we don't have any witnesses, and I think we can do 30 minutes.
Do you have any expert witnesses?
I do have our architect coming in. She's running a little late.
That's not her behind you, him behind you.
No,
Okay.
she'll be here at 7:45.
At when?
7:45, she said.
Okay,
She had
then
an
we
emergency.
may, we may put you third.
Okay.
We may have to skip over you and put you, when she's here, let me know.
Okay.
Okay? Number 3 is Vicky Graspus and Renato Torres, 10 Lowell Avenue. I know, did I screw the names up badly? I apologize up front.
We can do it within 30 minutes, and we have 1 expert witness with us.
1 expert witness, great. That's the exact answer. And it looks like you're going to be number 1. 20 Evergreen Road, Christine and Allison Vicari.
Vicari, very close.
I'm sorry?
I said Vicari, very close. Yeah, we can do it in 30 minutes, and we don't have any expert witnesses.
There are no expert witnesses. Okay, fine, thank you. And last for tonight is going to be Felix Yen and Lucy Chen, 126 Canubra Parkway.
Hi. Yes, we can do it in 30 minutes and have 1 witness.
1 witness. Okay,
Thank you.
looks like we're ready to proceed. Any issues from the board at this point? Okay, moving on. Let's bring up Amitha Kumar and the Sachin Dev, 133 Beekman Road.
I think we're gonna skip to number 3.
Oh, I screwed up. I'm sorry. 10 Lowell Avenue. My apologies. Vicky, I knew I was skipping one, and I did. Okay, 10 Lowell Avenue.
And Chairman Steiner, may I remind you, I am recused from this one.
Okay, please, for the record, note that Ms. Toth is recused.
Both Ms. Newell and Ms. Toth are recusing from this matter.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did not see you. You're, okay. Okay, we're going to swear the two of you that are going to be testifying in, and then we're going to ask you to give us a brief overview of what your situation is, and then I have a feeling you're going to turn it over to your architect who's going to do the heavy lifting.
You got it.
If you could raise your right hand, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And one at a time, just the applicants, please state your name, spell your last name.
Vicky Grapsis, Grapsas.
And Renato Torres,
Thank you. And
Spell it.
Renato, and last name Torres, Torres.
Thank you. All right, can you give us a brief overview of what it is you're looking for and what the variances are as you understand them?
Okay. We purchased our home at 10 Lowell Avenue in 2017 when I was pregnant with our second child. We had moved from the New England Village apartments where we had lived for 2 years before living in Queens. We chose Summit to be close to family and our business. I own the Florham Park Diner, and Renato is a realtor in town. And because we love the small town feel of a neighborhood while having a vibrant downtown. Over the past 6 years, our kids have obviously grown. We have a second grader at Washington and a kindergartner at Wilson. We've done small improvements to the home, such as replacing the HVAC, painting, molding. But as our children grow, we need more room to make the home work for our family. We love our home and our property, but our current layout and features are no longer functional. We have 1 bathroom for 4 people, which we've realized is really difficult now that our kids are out of diapers. With kids' sports and activities, they're in and out with gear and coats and shoes, which get dumped at the front door since we don't have a mudroom area or an internal connection to the garage. We considered moving within Summit. In fact, we were outbid on several homes, but ultimately we love our Magic Fountain neighborhood and decided to stay and renovate. Admittedly, we did not know that our project would require any variances when we first got started, and we were unfamiliar with the process. We did try to explore a proposal that did not require any variances, but given our building coverage was already existed non-conforming, there was really no way to expand and get the space we needed without going through the variance project. We spoke to our neighbors about our project, and all that we spoke with were supportive. The Nobiles at 8 Lowell, the Strains at 11 Lowell, the Mucci's at 13, and all wished us luck with our project. Our rear yard neighbor might be here. He might be running late, and he had initially some questions about our proposal. But after speaking to us and our architect, he was supportive. We hired our architect, Cindy, on recommendation of a neighbor who did a similar project to our own. And that's it. If there's no questions of me, I'd like to hand it over to Cindy.
Anything you'd like to add? Okay, good answer. Any questions from members of the board of the applicants? Okay, I guess now we're going to turn it over to your architect to
Question from the public first.
questions from the public. Anybody from the public here for this particular application? Okay. I don't see anyone here, but we'll ask again. We're going to swear you in and go from there.
do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I think I turned it on. Yeah.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Cindy Boerner, Boerner.
Thank you. And can you briefly describe your background and experience?
Licensed in the state of New Jersey since 2000. My license is in good standing, and I've appeared before this board many times before.
Thank
and
you.
was approved as an expert witness.
One comment from our zoning officer in her memorandum was that the license number in your seal was close to.
15841?
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions from the board, or would you like to accept your credentials?
I think we can, you've been here before on a number of occasions, including the one cited by the applicant, so we will accept your credentials. Please.
So I have a handout. Do we want to mark it as
Exhibit
A1?
A.
It's just like neighborhood photographs.
Yep.
So you
give the one you marked to,
Yep.
yeah, to the secretary. Or mark the one for the secretary. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, if you guys could share.
Okay, and before we proceed too far, when were these pictures taken? Who took them?
So they're Google, is this, all right, I usually have a really loud voice, so I've never had anyone tell me they couldn't hear me before, so this is a first. But, so they're from Google's, and I believe they were October 2020. So there's some under there that are under construction that are now complete, which I will mention when I get to that portion.
And they accurately represent the
Yes.
homes that you're attempting to show us.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to briefly walk you through the project first. These are the same drawings that you have in front of you. They haven't been altered in any way. Do I need to like hold this and bring it with me? Okay. It doesn't seem to, I mean,
It's working fine.
You have to talk directly into it.
Okay. So sheet 2, your first floor plan is what we're going to look at first. So on the first floor, we propose adding a new front entrance canopy at the existing front stoop, a 1-story mudroom and a kitchen addition off the back, and a family room off the back, and a small deck and patio. On the second floor, we propose adding a bedroom and laundry room over the existing garage, and a new master's bedroom over the new family room addition, and we'll be converting an existing bedroom into the master bathroom and closet. And there'll be no changes in the basement except for the fact we'll be bringing the laundry room up to the second floor. Sheet 3. So on your front elevation, you can see the entrance canopy at the existing stoop, the bedroom over the existing garage. From the side, you can see the side of the entrance canopy, and then the 2-story addition in the back is the family room and the master bedroom above. From the rear, again, you can see the 2-story addition of the family room and master bedroom above, the 1-story addition of the kitchen and mudroom, and over the garage, the bedroom's on the front and the laundry room is in the back. So from the left side, as you're looking from the street, again, you can see the entrance canopy off in the distance, the new bedroom, laundry room addition above the garage, the 1-story bump out for the mudroom and kitchen, and in the distance, the family room with the master bedroom up above. So I'm going to go back to sheet 1, and we're going to talk about our zoning. So our proposal requires 2 variances. One is for building coverage, which is existing non-conforming, and one is for floor area ratio. Our existing building coverage is 1224 square feet or 20.4%, and proposed is 1495 square feet or 25%. Our allowable is 1200 square feet or 20%. We require a 273 square foot 5% variance. We believe our additions are in keeping with the character of the home and the neighborhood. Many surrounding homes have done very similar expansions over the years. So if you look at your Google map handout, I would go so far as to say that our home is one of the smallest in the neighborhood, with no addition over the garage, no rear addition, and no entry canopy. So on the top left, you see numbers 7, 9, and 13 Lowell. You can see a 1-story addition at the rear of number 13, the room over the garage and the entry canopy at number 9, and the room over the garage as well as a 2-story addition to the rear at number 7. If you look at number 16 and 18 Lowell, which is the bottom left photo, you can see the entry canopy and room over the garage at number 16 is being constructed in the photo, but is now complete, as well as an addition over the garage, as well as an entry canopy at number 18. Number 15 and 17 Lowell, which is your top right photo, again, an entry canopy and room over the garage at number 17, and in the distance, a 2-story addition, again being built in this photo, but again now complete, at the rear on number 15, the front entry canopy and room over the garage. Number 8, 10, and 12 Lowell, which is your bottom right photo. Number 8 has the room over the garage and front entry canopy, as well as a 1-story addition to the rear. Then there's our home without any additions, and number 12 with the room over the garage, entry canopy, and a 1-story addition at the rear. As you can also see, our home is fairly well screened with a hedge to the right, mature trees separating us from our rear yard neighbor, and the 2 driveway garages next to each other for a privacy buffer to the left. In addition, our lot coverage is within the allowable, as well as adding a runoff collection system. Therefore, I believe our lot can handle the additional square footage we are adding. Our second variance is for floor area ratio. Our existing floor area ratio is 1286, or 21.4%. Our proposed is 2211 square feet, or 36.9%, whereas 2100 square feet, or 35%, is allowed. We require 111 square feet, or 1.9% variance. Again, we believe our current home is one of the smallest in the neighborhood with no previous additions. We believe the additions we are proposing are in keeping with the neighborhood, with most of the homes surrounding us having done similar additions throughout the years. We believe the additions update the home, which was constructed in 1949, with no significant changes since it was built. In addition, given the siting, we believe our addition causes no negative effects. We're not blocking the light, air, or view of any neighboring property, and as mentioned, collecting any additional runoff created with a detention system. On the first floor, the entry canopy provides a safer ingress and egress to the home. The mudroom provides much-needed space for the kids to enter and store their day-to-day stuff, as well as connect the now disconnected garage to the home. So right now, even though the garage is attached, there's no way to get from the house to the garage without going outside. So a mudroom will create a connection to the garage as well. The current kitchen is small and disconnected from any of the living spaces, so the kitchen and family room addition allows a more modern, open family gathering space. On the second floor, the addition over the garage allows us to replace a bedroom that we are turning into the master bathroom and closet. So we will have four bedrooms. Sorry. The addition above the family room below allows for a proper master bedroom suite, including a bathroom that Vicky and Renato don't have to share with their two young children. As Vicky mentioned, there is one bathroom currently in the home. We believe our additions are all modest in size, allowing for the space we need without being excessive. In conclusion, we believe our additions are in keeping with the style and character of the home and are also consistent with the neighborhood as a whole. We believe our additions are a positive change to the home, updating a 1940s home that has no significant improvements since it was constructed, including a detention system which will handle any additional runoff. We're satisfying a C2 variance where the benefits outweigh any potential negatives. We believe the additions are also well screened to the neighboring properties, and for all of these reasons, we hope the board looks favorably upon our application. Just a couple comments that I wanted to address from the township comments. Number 2 was just providing testimony that the survey is accurate, which it is. Number 11, the engineer was asking that Mark Dimigliano's engineering plan show the entrance portico as part of the limit of disturbance. However, there is no limit of disturbance around the portico because the actual foundation stoop is already there. We're just building on top of it. We'll abide by all the township code and engineering code requirements, all required smoke detectors, of course, as per code, and just mentioning that the AC condensers we will provide landscape screening around.
There was a comment, I believe, from the forester about issues with the drip line. Did I see that on yours? Or am I mixing it up? Okay. Did I miss that, Deputy?
What was that?
Okay, do you have anything?
The applicant covered all the comments from our report.
Okay.
Yes.
Board members' questions?
I didn't hear, was there an answer to your question about the
I haven't
information?
gotten it yet. I'm going to go look again. That's
No,
what I'm going to do.
I can read you the comment, I have it.
What?
Are you looking for the forester's comment?
Yes,
On the
Yeah, it
forest.
just says infiltration chamber should be located beyond the drip line
right.
of trees to be preserved.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Infiltration chamber should be located beyond the drip line of trees to be preserved.
So I'm not the engineer, but it looks like he's got the detention system in the back here, and the only trees that I see drawn are here, and if they're drawn to scale, I would say they're outside the drip line, but I'm not the expert there.
Well, can we make this a condition that they meet the requirements of the forester, and they'll be required to do that?
Sounds good.
Is that acceptable to the applicants?
Yes.
Okay. Other people walked in while this was ongoing. Are there any members of the public here for this particular one? And do you have questions for the architect?
I don't have questions, but I have a comment about the
Questions only. Okay. Any other questions?
You had mentioned a number of properties in the neighborhood have similar construction to your proposal. Are you aware if any of them are over on FAR and/or building coverage?
I am not, no. Do you know whether, like, have you gotten any variance, you know, like those notifications like you sent out?
A lot was done. A lot was done before we moved in, so we haven't received anything.
And Dipsy, you had nothing, right?
They covered our comments. so
Okay,
thank you
and
very much.
you're happy.
But I would say that I think most of the lots are pretty similar in size in that.
Exactly, you have, you're exactly 6,000 square feet, so, I want to get a sense, in terms of keeping with the neighborhood. Obviously, the overall style is similar, it's just a question of scale. You have a relatively minor overage on FAR. Wondering, how you looked at your plans, if there could be a way to alter them to get in compliance.
I mean, it's minor, but 111 square feet, given the size of the existing house. You know what I mean, like 111 square foot is an entire bedroom.
So you don't feel that there's any way that you could make this work without that variance?
I don't.
Okay. All right, we've asked the public for their questions. Anything that you would like to, as applicants, say to us at the, in conclusion?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have conditions?
Open it for public comment?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll just note though, the two conditions we have so far are, one, compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum, and two, as discussed, the applicants will ensure the infiltration chamber is located beyond the drip line of the trees to be preserved.
Okay, we'll now open it up for comments from the public. You'll be sworn in, and then you can provide your input.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
And my name is Elliot Fishman, Fishman. My address?
And your address, please.
Yes, 34 Webster Avenue.
Thank you.
My property is immediately behind the grass posts, so I would be one of the properties most directly affected by their variance application. And I'm actually here in support of my neighbors. I have known them for several years. They're excellent neighbors. I looked at the plans. We talked about the plans. Vicky and Renata were kind enough to introduce themselves and show me the plans even before they sent me the certified letter saying there would be a variance application. This was last spring. I thought that was very courteous and respectful, and that's consistent with the kind of neighbors they are. So I'm really proud to, as their neighbor, to support their application before the zoning board and encourage the board to approve it. We also talked recently about screening. There's a dead tree or a semi-dead tree I'm going to take down probably next year, and the Grespos offered to improve screening by the fence so that there would indeed be privacy. I don't know if that's in the application or not, but I trust whether it is or not that they would take care of that. And again, it's consistent with the kind of neighbors they are.
Okay, any questions of this gentleman? Okay, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Okay, then we will close the application at this point and move to our executive session. Who would like to begin?
Conditions.
Go for it.
We
We
read them
we read them,
before
sorry.
public, but-
Well, do it again, we don't mind.
All right.
Thank
Once
you.
again, number one, compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum. Number two is the applicants will ensure that the infiltration chamber is located beyond the drip line of the trees to be preserved.
Okay, who wants to kick it off?
And possibly screening around the AC condensers. I'm not sure if that was
I'm sorry?
in it originally or not.
You-
The screening around the AC condensers?
You provided testimony
Okay.
that there was, I didn't see or hear a call for a condition on that one.
Not really necessary because it's in the ordinance and you'd have to comply. Who wants to kick it off?
All right, I'll start. Nobody else wants
I'm
to start.
starting down here. I'm trying to get this side going.
That's okay. So you start off looking at this, and it looks like a big increase in building coverage and a smaller increase in FAR, and those kind of things are usually kind of red flags for me. But when you get to the neighborhood, as the architect noted, a lot of the houses in the neighborhood have already done similar additions, and the lots are all roughly the same size. I didn't measure them, but they're all roughly the same size. So I think the proposal is definitely in keeping with the neighborhood. There's no, I think the property can accommodate the proposal. It's in scale with the neighborhood. I don't see any negative impact on the neighborhood. As noted by the backyard neighbor, he doesn't feel like it's any negative impact on his property. So I can support this application.
Anyone else want to chime
Sure.
in?
So, yeah, I tend to agree with everything you said there, Tom. I mean, I did want to get more information as to like who needed variances, who didn't. Ultimately, there are no negative impacts to the neighborhood. It can accommodate the usage. I do like to minimize variances, but the neighbor to the rear speaking in support of it can get me there, so I'll support the application.
The only thing I saw in this was how small the lot was compared to some of the others, and wondered where they were just a little bit larger, they probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, possibly, but it is sized exactly for the zone.
Yeah. So, yeah, Wally, you want to wrap it?
I will agree with both of my colleagues here. There's a clear benefit to the property. You guys talked about the safety of ingress to the house, which is a clear benefit to you and your family. You're obviously making the property and the home more suitable for your family and your everyday living, while clearly staying within the bounds of the community and sizing and staying within conformity to the neighborhood itself without really imposing any negative impact to anyone around you. So I would also support this application. So, looking good, guys.
And I don't see any negatives that affect anything. I believe that the positives are met, the negatives are met, and we can move this one along. And I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Sulios?
Vice Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Mullen?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Mr. Loikis?
Yes.
Mr. Feskins?
Yes.
Mr. Yuko?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Do you want me to leave this on? Or turn it off?
You can leave it on.
Leave it on and leave it up, because then our next person will probably need it. We're going to go back, if they are ready, is 133. Is your architect here?
So we should get Claire and
Um,
Just here, just for an extension for Gilman Levine, and I wanted to see if Mr. Ball had any further questions that were unanswered.
Nope, everything's been answered.
I had the question, David, and I got answered.
Oh, okay. I'll stick around until the end.
You don't need to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is,
Wait 1 second for Claire and Liz.
oh, we have to bring our two back. Can somebody find them?
Stephanie just went out.
Okay, we're having a search party for our last two board members. Actually, we should open up the old defense table, the defense office, and put a TV in there. One. Okay, what'd you do with the second?
Is Liz?
She's chatting with their neighbors.
Liz isn't recused from this one,
No,
right?
not
Okay.
Oh, Liz. Do I have to go get her? Can we give her a subpoena?
I thought she was falling behind.
Thank you.
I like how they called it the Magic Fountain Neighborhood.
What?
I like how they called it the Magic Fountain Neighborhood.
The Magic Mountain neighborhood.
Yeah. I think I'd weigh 300 pounds if I lived in the neighborhood.
I thought they were gonna rename it after the liquor store that's opening down the street. Yeah.
There aren't enough liquor stores in Summit.
Okay, gotta get rid of this.
Mine are successfully grown.
All right, and I have to find my papers.
Swear you in the meantime, if you raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? And one at a time, please state your name, spell your last name.
Sachin Dev, last name is
Amita Kumar, Kumar.
Thank you.
Okay, and this is the case for 133 Beekman Road. And can you explain to us what it is that you're looking for and why you're here?
Sure. We are coming back probably after literally a year and a half because we were supposed to apply for a variance as part of the previous resolution, which was passed on December 6th, 2021. 2021, right? Yes, sorry, it's been a while. So, yeah, as part of the December 6th, 2021. So we were supposed to, we came back with a proposal to have that variance for the front driveway that was requested last time. And then while we were going through the process, we were told by Krista that if we have to redo the deck, since you'll be destroying the old deck, we have to apply for a variance again because that was built like 20 years ago. So we said, okay, we put that as part of the application to rebuild that deck and install a patio. So that sort of summarizes, and just in terms of background, we've been living in Summit for about the last 10 years, and we've raised 2 kids. Obviously, like everybody else, people are crazy about Summit. We are crazy about Summit. We love it. Our 2 kids have been here they've gone through the whole elementary school and high school. One of them is literally graduating this year, so we're excited about it. And obviously, we want to be here for the long term. And basically, the deck and patio will help us sort of continue to enjoy our backyard and all the variances that we have. Mainly because we have a huge backyard and we're totally outdoor people. Love to spend a lot of time in the garden. I think this will help the expansion. And then I'll leave Malti to go through the process. Any questions before she goes?
Questions for the applicant? Questions for the applicant? None? Any questions from the audience for the applicants? Is anyone in the audience for this application? Okay. Then we want to move on to your expert witness, and we'll swear her in.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Name is Malathi Ananthakrishnan. The last name is long. Spelling ANANTHAKRISHNAN.
Thank you. And you testified before this board at the prior application, is that correct?
I did.
Any changes to your credentials since that prior application?
No.
License is still in good standing in New Jersey?
Yeah. Yes.
Any questions from the board? Would you like to accept her once
No,
again?
we'll accept her I did look at the resolution, apparently 5 of us who are sitting here have heard this case before. So, for whatever that may be worth or not worth. Welcome back.
Thank you. So as the homeowners explained, we are back because of, started off as the front driveway. As was discussed at the previous zoning board hearing, the driveway is very steep, and they're unable to park the second car in the driveway without worrying about it sliding down during an icy or snowy day. And so I believe the board members themselves recommended that we come back and ask for a variance to put in a parking spot on the right side of the existing driveway. So that is the drawing that was submitted to the zoning board members, provided by the engineer. I was not aware at that point that we would come back also for the deck, because the construction of the addition on the house is complete, and the deck extension was a part of the project. But the decking material has to be replaced because it's old, over 20 years old, and needed to be repaired or replaced. And at that moment, we learned that we need to come back for a variance on that section of the deck because it is within the left side setback. The applicants were also decided at that point to add a patio to it. And based on these 3 points, drawings were submitted. And we have received comments from both Collier Engineer as well as from the planner. And I can go through some of them so that we can try and address the issues on it. And in support of especially the deck and the patio, I have 2 more exhibits here, so I'm going to mark it and
Please.
pass it around.
Please give the marked ones to the secretary. Secretary. That way we follow the same. Okay, before we go any further, where did the pictures come from? Who took them? When?
The photographs were taken by the homeowner. You want to speak to it?
And when?
I took the pictures this morning.
Okay, and do they accurately represent what you were trying to show us here?
Yes.
Okay. Please proceed.
All right. So as indicated on the site plan drawing that I prepared this morning, we have a part of the deck existing on the left side, 165 square feet. And the proposed deck on the right was an extension going all the way to the right side of the house. It's an additional 407 square feet for a total of 572 square feet. If you look at the photographs, you can see that existing deck out there. That is the part of the deck which is non-conforming right now. All the additional deck is conforming. And I believe a question was also asked about what kind of screening is there. As you can see, they're all evergreen trees out there, some pine and some arbor vitae. The bottom right photograph shows that how it looks right from the decking itself. So it's completely screened from there. We're not making the situation any worse or anything. No trees will be removed. I think a question was asked by the planner, the need for larger patio, which was non-conforming. So we did take that into consideration, and on the revised, on the site plan that I have prepared and submitted right now, we testify that on the left-hand side, we will bring the patio in and make it conforming. However, on the right-hand side, it is slightly non-conforming only because we're trying to get a path from the patio to the deck steps. So, but definitely reduced the non-conformity of the patio itself. The third and last one is the proposed driveway. I think a question was asked on what is the width of the driveway at the top. It is 18 feet. And then, as per the site engineer's drawing, we'll be proposing a paved area instead of the gravel. Again, that's shown in the photograph, the first photograph on the left on the second row. So right now, that's the driveway with the gravel area where the car is parked. I just wanted to go over a few of the questions from Ms. Ch. Point number 1, there's a question about the discrepancy in the square footage of the lot. I'm not sure about that, but on this survey, it does show the same number, 24,511 square feet. So if we had written it incorrectly somewhere, we will correct it to show the 24,511 square feet.
So you'll comply with their findings?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I see it on this
One of our
survey.
standard conditions is that you commit to the letter in its entirety.
I don't need to.
Is that agreeable to you? And that would cover
Yeah.
anything that there might be
All right.
a
There's only
difference
one
with.
question that we wanted to discuss on that. That is the location and the need for the dry well. I think we were asked if calculations were provided for this. And on the second page of the engineer's drawings, there is a stormwater detention design calculation. The amount of stormwater we need is very low. It's only 376 cubic feet. And the soil here is quite sandy, and we didn't think that it would, the dry well would be most effective. However, therefore, perforated pipe placed inside a trench was designed. We will discuss this with the engineer, site engineer, and the township engineer and see if this is acceptable. If not, we'll work out a solution with them.
Deputy?
Sure. The comment was about the resolution approval from 2021, that the applicant shall submit a stormwater management plan, which includes the addition of a dry well. That's the dry well I was referring to, not the proposed stormwater measures you have currently, shown on the plan.
Okay.
So the previous dry well, where is that on the plan? Just because the survey, and this kind of goes back to the other comments, the survey that's provided is from 2014, and that survey may not represent today's conditions because you had additions and other work done on the property. So I think a updated survey should be provided to the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only question was, if this stormwater detention did take into account the extra 100 square feet which was added at the time of that resolution? So I'll talk to the site engineer and also look at the resolution to see if they were looking for dry well more than that 100 square feet. So we added the 100 square feet and the the impervious coverage caused by the patio.
Okay.
And added them both and then created the stormwater detention basin. So I don't know if they were talking about more than that 100 square foot addition, or it was intended for both, the proposed.
Right. I cannot tell
addition.
from the resolution the square footage at this point.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the condition, and I think the latest survey should be presented to the city instead of the one that's from 2014.
Understood.
Is that a condition?
Will you commit to providing an updated survey?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need it more than that?
Nope,
Okay.
that's good.
Any other questions from you? As long as we're over there?
Okay. The drawing, the site plan drawing that's provided, the site improvement plan should show the zoning requirements, you know, the space tables should include building coverage increase and impervious coverage increase, that it's conforming, because we're not able to see what that actual number is. That's comment number 8B.
Can I respond to that?
Sure, yeah.
There is a table here.
Right.
Out here, and we are adding no building coverage
That's
on this
okay.
variance.
Just
And I
add
think
it
it
to the
says
table.
here,
Right.
dwelling 1372, existing proposed 1372, so no change
Okay.
there. And the driveway has increased, and the deck and patio have increased, and the total impervious coverage in terms of both square footage and percentage are given at the bottom.
Sure, it's just a sentence to say that the building coverage is not increasing.
Okay.
Typically, that's what's shown on those tables, yeah.
Okay.
Testimony won't handle that? Okay.
When we
That's
resubmit,
fine.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure that's on the.
If
Okay.
they're revising the
We'll add it.
plans, yeah, it's fine. Okay, the last main one is the limit of disturbance, and we just want to know what that is in testimony.
Probably about 3,000 square feet.
Okay, that's fine, all right, and that's per my comment. Okay,
That answers all of your questions.
yes, it does, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions from the board?
I have a quick one, just to
Okay.
confirm. I think I heard the testimony that the driveway width total is proposed to be 18 feet. I saw a comment from our planners that it was proposed at 20 feet. Can you just confirm the accurate total width that we're looking at?
I scaled it off the engineer's drawings this morning, and it came at 18 feet. Because, well, let's put it this way, we have to leave a minimum of 3 feet from the right-hand side, which we will conform to. My scaling showed 18 feet, but if the planner is giving us 20 feet, then we'll say that we definitely stay with the side setback of 3 feet and conform to that.
Okay. Dipti, I don't suppose your memo at any point notes the total width there?
We asked to provide testimony on
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not scale it, just in case.
So are you comfortable asking only for 18 feet of total width as the variance?
I brought a scale for this purpose, let me check. It does scale at 18 feet.
18, okay.
And is that all the way down to the apron?
No, it's,
What
on
is
the
it?
apron, it's only the existing 12 feet. Existing 10 feet. It's
The
10
apron's
feet,
10.
Yeah, it's 10 feet. And it stays 10 feet for the first 10 feet, and then goes out to 18 feet.
Okay. Goes out to the 18 there.
Yes, stays at 18, yeah.
Okay. Matches my driveway.
I have a question with going back to dry well stormwater management, because I do not have a perfect recollection of 2 years ago. But once the gravel parking area is paved, then that's going to, the water that falls there will go to the existing driveway and down to the street. And although you're proposing to pave a bit under 300 square feet, I'm just concerned about more water heading down to the street. Is that what your piping is aimed at preventing, or?
No, that's at the back of the property. the
Right, so,
parking.
so is there a way to minimize the amount of water getting into the street? How do we deal with that, if at all?
So
Dip these carefully, not looking at me.
the condition of the prior resolution
Okay.
did specifically require, as Dipty noted, it says, the applicants will submit a stormwater management plan which shall include the addition of a dry well to the city
Okay,
engineer
so-
for review and approval. So the applicants would still need to comply with that. There's no
Okay.
relief from those prior conditions of the prior application.
Okay.
You know, and I don't see a way
Okay.
the engineer can bypass that requirement.
But has
So
the
are we
construction
saying that
permit
none
been
of this
issued?
work has been done yet, and that's gonna be done now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
after the approval.
So all of you, the prior approvals are binding here.
Okay, thank you.
And I
Does that-
do agree with
Yeah.
Claire, because I did have that as one of my comments to address, how would you address the stormwater for the new gravel paved area? Since
Has-
that is not shown
has
in the plan.
ha-
I
has
don't
the-
know.
Okay.
Has the plan been submitted? I mean, it's been 2 years.
No, we had to come for the variance to get an approval for this extra driveway. And so only after this variance approval can we submit to the engineering.
So you
for-
just didn't move forward, we just
Yeah,
held off?
Yeah, yeah, it's been
Okay.
COVID and slowing, everything's been slow. Sorry. This was a little bit before my time, but the prior variance that was granted is all of that work with the exception of the drywall complete. Correct. Why wasn't the drywall complete yet? Or are you backing it up to incorporate this?
No, the driver was, actually, I think I missed it completely in terms of if there's a driver required, because we anyway had to come back for the variance, because all of the groundwork, all we did was the building, which was already there, so there was no sort of, work done on the ground itself, because there was existing structure already there, and so we built only the second floor. So now, all the deck and all the groundwork needs to be completed now.
Yeah, all
We
the
were-
site plan work was not started.
Nothing was started.
Was any of the original variance granted addressing site work besides this stormwater? No, no. It was only a second floor addition on a non-conforming side yard. So we're going straight up, but since the existing first floor was already inside the side yard, they have just finished the second floor. And they haven't done any, and the deck was part of that, and then when they started to do the deck, that's when they were told that they need to come back for a variance. I mean, we're just getting ready to submit the variance application for the driveway. So then they combined both, and I believe it was submitted in June, but we're in front of the board now in October. I think the part that's confusing is why would there be a stormwater management plan required if they're not increasing the impervious surface? So can we get some clarity on what was originally approved and why? Or was it
I'm not sure we could get it here, we could certainly postpone and have it provided.
Yeah, I don't have the plans in front of me. I do have the resolution in front of me. The only variance that was being sought at that time was a left side yard setback variance for 11.4 feet, whereas 15 is required. It did address the addition. I'm not seeing a reference to the patio or deck area in that application, or at least in the brief summary in the resolution here. But that condition did, as I previously read it out, did specifically address the requirement of a stormwater management plan being submitted.
Which has not been done.
Which has not been done according to the applicants.
Yeah.
But the prior plan, you only had the deck being proposed, the patio is new with this plan, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Can I ask just, you were talking about the egress from the deck going out to the patio, and was the design the same in the last plan in terms of where the egress from the deck would be? 'Cause there is an encroachment on that side of the patio. and
Right.
I'm just sort of wondering if it worked back then, why doesn't it work now?
I think that we are extending the size of the patio now. And the existing patio, or else put it the other way around. The existing patio is where the proposed deck is. is being put.
Right.
So
but
they
like-
didn't have any, so we didn't have a patio on the previous application.
Right, but did you have 2 egress points off the deck in the prior application?
Yeah, we did, but then it just went down to grass, right?
Okay, so
So, but-
I guess in terms of minimizing variances,
Okay.
why are you extending the patio to wrap around the deck and create another variance as opposed to going with what worked before?
Yeah, we are very flexible with the patio, I mean, I'm fine with whatever. Yeah, the patio, we're not insistent, for, I mean, we can confirm, that's what she was saying, the patio.
Yeah, on the left
We had to come, the main reason we had to include the deck and all these things is because they said you cannot
Right.
destroy the deck, and we went through the process of now, we have to apply for the deck along with this variance.
So that's why we included the patio again in it without having to come back a third time. So if that's an issue, we can definitely make it completely conforming. Yes,
That's always preferable.
yes, yes.
Andy, I have a legal question for us. If this is an existing non-conforming deck, why are we reissuing the variance for it?
Because it's being torn down.
You
Correct?
can't-
Yeah, we're not tearing
So-
down the footings or anything, but we were changing the decking. So that's why the first round, it wasn't flagged. The deck was always there even on on the
So
previous
if it,
variance.
even if it existed, if it's, you can conduct minor maintenance, repairs, replacements to existing variances, but at the point where you are significantly, you know, ripping out most of it and replacing it, even if it's replacement in the same area, it does need a new variance.
Other questions?
I suppose I have one now. So are we proposing to get rid of a portion of the patio and eliminate a specific variance? Or were there multiple variances being eliminated there?
Yes, one variance for the, we had brought in today with eliminating the left side variance, but we're testifying now that we'll eliminate the right side variance as well.
Okay.
So there will be no variance for the patio.
And just to confirm, our planning official who was subbing for the zoning officer just wanted to confirm that the patio is going to be on grade.
Yes.
So what variances are we left with? Just
So
the,
if,
The driveway.
if I'm
just the
not mis-
driveway.
Driveway and the deck nonconformity, or is the deck
Oh,
non?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the driveway
Then-
width of 18 feet, and then the deck having a non-conforming side yard setback of 9.5 feet, whereas 15 is required.
I guess I have a question for Mr. Ball.
Go ahead.
And I'm trying to make this a question. Looking at the prior resolution, and none of us seems quite to remember, would it be fair to say that the conditions 3 and 4 ought to be read as going hand in hand? The dry well with the driveway?
Will the driveway work? I don't think so, because at that point, they were being made to conform. And it says, the applicant will either conform with the city requirements on the driveway, or the applicant shall submit a new application for a variance, kind of recognizing that could be an issue with the width later on. But I don't know that the dry well was necessarily tied to that, and there's nothing in condition 3 that ties the dry well to that.
Yeah, but there was only 100 square foot roof addition. So I'm sorry, even I don't recall exactly what
Actually,
happened.
The surprising part is probably only after you told me, because that was the driver was never it came in afterwards, is that when it was recommended? Because the discussion of a driver never came up in our last meeting.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little confused how that came up, you know?
So if it didn't come up, how did it get in the resolution?
No.
That's what,
I think it's connected to the driveway. That's That's what
That's
seems
why
more
I'm-
logical, because it's only a 100 square foot roof addition we did last time.
So that's what it's really confusing.
Yeah, and I don't recall the hearing
Yeah, same
itself.
here.
All I'm going on is what I'm
No,
seeing
that's
in the
fine.
resolution in front of me.
So what is your suggestion as to how we handle it?
So that prior condition's still in place. It doesn't go away because of this application unless the board wants to grant relief from that prior condition at this point. Otherwise, it looks like we're just dealing with these new requests for the two variances, driveway width being 18 feet and the right
And can we
side.
grant conditional relief based on their investigation of water retention on the site?
So I think if what you're suggesting is deviating from the prior dry well requirement, but saying submit a new stormwater management plan with the final stormwater improvements to be reviewed and confirmed by the city's engineer?
Yes.
We could do that.
If the engineer deems that they need a dry well after submitting that report, then they're bound to install one.
That's a possibility, assuming the applicants would agree with that.
Yeah, that's a very
appreciate
good
that.
idea. I
Yeah,
think
I
that would be
appreciate that.
fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that, Ms. Toth, does that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
And any comments from this side?
Are you still having a patio, or is it that being removed?
The patio is there, I think, but it's just conforming.
It'll be
We
conforming.
won't
It's
need
gonna be a
variance for it.
conforming patio.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions from the board? Dipti, are you, you're on board now? You're okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
nothing else?
Did I hear one of the conditions to be the latest as-built survey or just latest survey?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
The
Okay.
applicants will provide an updated
Great.
survey.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Any questions from the public to the, for the architect? Okay. Any last comments from the applicants or their expert?
No, I mean, I think we've at least reduced the number of variances from 3 to 2, and so we appreciate your time and hope we can look at this favorably.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know this seems to be much more complicated, and I apologize for that. It just keeps, I think only because of this 3 feet and all those things, so we apologize for that. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone from the public who would like to express an opinion on this particular one? Okay, our conditions are,
We have 3 of them. First, the compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum. Second is that the applicants will provide an updated survey to the board engineer. And third, as we were just discussing, the board will be granting relief from that prior condition number 3 requiring a dry well. The applicants will submit a new stormwater management plan to the board engineer for review and approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, who wants to kick it off?
For me, this boils down to they're just really squeezed by the width of their lot, right? In an R15, I believe it's 90, they're not even close, and I think that's causing them all sorts of problems. You can see with the addition to their home and then the work in the back, they're trying to work within the bounds of what they have, and I think they're doing a good job. So with that, I can approve this application.
Okay. Miss, our once missing member?
I would agree with that, because just the layout of how your house was originally built, it's definitely a hardship. And it's a shame because you have such a deep property. They just, switched it a little bit. Then I would definitely approve this application as well.
Mr. Malay?
I'm okay with this application. I think it's the only variance is the driveway, which I think is acceptable. So I support it as well.
Okay.
Just want to clarify, there is also this setback variance to the deck that still remains 9.5 feet. We have 2
The
variances.
side yard.
The side,
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that we've got an innovative resolution in the way we're handling, water, which we have not done before. We're actually taking away a requirement and putting a new one on top of it. So I think that's innovative, it's different, and hopefully it will work and get us the result that we want, which is to get your project done properly and the water properly handled.
So we don't have to come back to the, I'm sorry.
Is there, no, you have to submit that. The answer to your question is you have to submit. I don't think there are any major negatives to this. I think there are some positives, and I can certainly support it and would look for a resolution and a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Vice Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Ms. Newell,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Mullen,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Loiketz,
Yes.
Ms. Toad.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
1 month from now, there will be a resolution. Read it carefully, ask questions. And we, anybody want a break, or do we want to keep going for one more?
Power through.
Keep going,
Does the chair
okay?
want a break?
Yeah, they all have snacks over here, they're good.
They all have snacks. Well, I have okay, never. 20, let's see, did I get it right this time, 20 Evergreen? Okay. When you're the vice chair, you don't get to do this very often, so you forget the routine.
All right. And I'll swear you in. If you could each raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And one at a time, please state your name, spell your last name.
Allison Vicari, V as in Victor, I-C-A-R-I.
Thank you.
And Christine Vicari, same, V-I-C-A-R-I.
Thank you.
Okay, please tell us why you're here and what you're looking for.
Sure. We are Allison and Chris Vicari. We moved to Summit in 2017 when our daughter was 1. She is now a lively second grader at Washington, and our son is an inquisitive kindergartner at Wilson. We love our town and our neighborhood, nestled between Magic Fountain and Summit High, and have invested in both our relationships with our neighbors and town, with Chris joining the PAL board and coaching T-ball and lacrosse. We have also invested in the upkeep and improvement of our home, installing a French drain, regrading and interior work to mitigate water issues, and additional landscaping to continue to beautify our house and the neighborhood. We've talked to all our immediate neighbors personally, and they have all wished us good luck and support our proposed plans. Our lot is our hardship. Our existing home is situated on an irregular lot with side yards and front yard and an extremely limited off-shaped backyard. The proposed design includes an addition in the only possible area to add functional areas to the home and an expanded front porch to both maintain the visual integrity of the traditional center hall colonial of the original building and increase curb appeal. We were also mindful to keep aligned with the tone and design of the neighborhood and the existing architecture, both in materials and in relationship to the home we moved into. The proposed development is for a 2-story addition to accommodate our family, including a family room with dedicated spaces for homework and kids' gatherings, and an expanded office bedroom upstairs for both myself and my wife to work from home and provide additional storage, as well as a place to help our aging parents. The proposal requires 1 variance, a front yard setback variance of 14 feet 6 inches where 25 feet is required. We are also happy to answer any questions that came up in the comments on the application. We live in Summit, and our neighborhood and our neighborhood community and are very, well, sorry about that. We live in Summit, we love our neighborhood and community very much, and are really looking forward to investing in our home here and making the house more useful for our growing family. And thank you for your time tonight and just service on the board. We appreciate it.
Any questions for the applicants from the board? You don't have any experts with you?
No.
No.
Okay.
I have a question more for the attorney before we maybe get input from the applicant. The zoning officer does note the one variance for the Madison Avenue front yard setback, but also notes several existing non-conforming issues. And frankly, some of them were confusing to me. I just want to know what we need to say or do and make sure those are addressed.
So, I think we've come across this a few times. Ideally, all of the nonconformities would be addressed, but the board has in the past, in instances that aren't impacted at all and doesn't actually, touch on those existing variances, has let them lie. So it's up to the board on how in-depth you want to delve into those and potentially grant variance relief here, or you could also determine that it's not really impacted and it's way outside of the scope of the work.
Which would not be accepting those like we did.
It wouldn't be, right, granting a variance or confirming any non-conformities that may exist, which requires a whole separate analysis.
How long have you owned the property?
Since 2016.
And did those,
2017, my daughter was born in 16.
did those conditions that we were talking about, those existing nonconformities, exist at the time you acquired the property?
Yeah, so the patio on the side existed, the walkway existed. The only thing that we had added, because 3 days into owning the home, there was a storm that, so there's the gravel in the back. I don't know if you can see that. The gravel in the back with the pavers were added to mitigate water, because 3 days in, I was barreling water out of our window wells and our utility room as the water was pouring in from our neighbor. So our landscaper had suggested, and when we had done when our inspector had come in, they had said that everything was pitched to the house in the small backyard, and we lived that 3 days in. So our landscaper leveled it, put the gravel in, and we haven't had any water issues since.
And have you had any, say, instances where your neighbors complained about water issues getting worse?
No, because all of our water runs directly into the street. So we're the last house before it levels off. So we get everyone else's water, and then it goes out into the street. It's grandfathered in that way.
Thank you.
I have one other question. The zoning officer mentions, I won't read the whole paragraph, but a shed in the yard behind the existing paver patio, which was approved, but none of the plans submitted show that the shed exists. I was there this afternoon. It looked like the shed's there.
Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't realize it wasn't on the survey until
Okay.
it was pointed out in the comments. But yeah, the shed's there. It's an 8x12 shed.
Yeah.
And it's within the number of feet that it needs to be from.
Yeah, because your lot's kind of a funny shape. It's like a
Yes.
small L kind of thing. And that's,
Love it, and
yeah.
it's difficult at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't want to lose it, okay.
Don't want to lose it. Don't want to lose it.
You had, I know you don't have an architect here, you had an architect design the addition, right?
Yes, if I could do this, I would have a different profession, but yes, the architect designed these plans, yes.
And did the architect note any way to potentially put it in a conforming location? Like your lot looks very oddly shaped, so.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, there isn't a way, because you can't build out to the left, because it actually is raised higher than the patio down below. So the only place to go, we can't go to the back because there's no room. And then the only place to go is to the right. And the way that the house is positioned, it's at an angle.
And you
So
have to go through the garage, right, to
Yeah,
get to that addition
exactly.
at the work.
Yeah. I had a question and just sort of an well, two questions and an observation. One is, I know there were a couple of things about providing testimony about where you're going to move your air conditioning units
Yeah.
because you're going to build right over it. So here's your opportunity.
Yeah, so the plan would be right in the back of the house within the
buildable envelope.
the buildable
We did talk to
envelope.
our
Yeah.
architect before.
It would be in the back, and the plan would be to put it within that buildable envelope and then put planting around it, so
Okay.
that, because it's still would be
Right, right.
beautiful.
And then you're really giving up your little back seating area right behind the house? So you,
So that actually stays, and then it would
Okay.
go past
Okay.
the brick side of the house.
okay. And just because your children are young, an observation, you might want to rethink those steps down from the family room. When they are teenagers, having an ingress to the house that you don't control because your bedroom's in the far opposite
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
You get one through.
I
That's
will
never
definitely
happened.
take that into consideration.
better you are.
In Summit, that's never happened.
I guess it's better than climbing out the second story, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you on that one.
It's true.
Can you just walk
Any
us
other
through
questions?
the dimensions that you're requesting here, and the 16-foot? Was there any concepts of making that 12 feet, 14 feet to minimize the impact?
So the 12 feet, no. The 16 feet, in order for us to have the true family room that we were looking for, and our kid, in order to have a bedroom that would be conducive for potentially, there's a chance that our parents, one set of our parents, my dad passed away, but may need to move in, that they would potentially be able to live in that bedroom. So that's the reason why we opted for the 16 feet.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this or not, but is there a reason why the architect is not here?
He had said because it was a front, hopefully that's not an issue, but he had said because it was a front yard setback variance that he felt he didn't need to be here and that we could handle it, but I'm not sure if that's, do we need to fire our architect? And
I just thought I'd ask the question. Because he might have been able to answer some of the questions that we asked about the other things that are on the property.
We
as
do
to
have
whether-
answers, yeah, we reviewed everything with him, so we are happy to go through point by point by what.
You know, whether or not any of those would make sense to you as property owners to get those variances handled now versus later. Yeah, or you may be back for your second and third time.
would like to not have that be the case, so
I-
yeah, whatever we would need to do.
So that's one
So
of the.
I guess one of the first questions, there's some point in the zoning officer's memo, it does indicate that there were plans showing, I guess, the patio and maybe some of these other improvements were to be removed, but the testimony is that all of those are remaining, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was gravel and the stone pavers were put there, could be removed, and that's why the survey company had put that on there,
They missed.
which was
one,
not
right?
accurate.
So then I think I hear the board asking if you could walk us through what exists in those locations, and just give a rough description of those. It looks like the slate patio area, the paver patio area, and then that walkway.
Sure. So if we look to the left on the house, there's, what's that? No, it's okay. If we look to the left on the house, there is I guess a square that says pavers. That was existing when we moved in, and nothing has been changed with that. And then the walkway, I believe, was the other question that was within the survey, within the questions, yeah, the feedback, and that was existing also. We put grass around them, but they were existing pavers that were there, and they're just rocks, really. They're not permanent. They're just a rock walkway. What we had added into the back of the house was that gravel tile area, and that was because of the water mitigation. And again, we haven't had any problems with water since we've put that in. And then there was an existing small patio when we moved in, and then we just replaced that in order to really match the limestone look of the pavers that were laid down over sand.
And then the note of the retaining wall, so there is a retaining wall between us and our neighbor and a fence, so there's no, I think I said that it doesn't impact in any way, because there's a 14-foot stone wall between the properties.
Okay, so those descriptions of the various setbacks noted in the zoning officer's memorandum, for example, the slate patio area setback is actually on the property line at 0 feet. The front setback for the existing patio area is 20, let me see here, is actually 50 feet, but 20 feet is existing. And then the walkway is set back at 2 feet. Those are all accurate descriptions? Okay.
So it doesn't impact, none of these seem to impact anybody. Okay.
not particular.
I feel like we should address the forester's comment. He says he's no objection as long as there's replacement landscaping on the Madison Avenue side of the home, assuming we grant this variance.
Definitely.
Can you share some ideas? I mean, we might want to get the forester's input.
Yeah, and John's actually been out to look at our trees, so I'm
Okay.
happy to have him come out at any point. But my initial idea would be to put leylands surrounding and have them be 6-foot leylands and have them be a hedge around. But I'm open to any options that he has also.
So can we have a condition somehow addresses that?
Yeah, normally we would, without requiring a more formal landscaping plan, that the applicants will consult with the city forester regarding the replacement landscaping, subject to his review and approval.
Sure.
What do you have to say to our HPC folks?
On the historical. So we
Right.
love the brick and the center part of the house, and we actually think it looks a little bit off because it's been built to one side. So that's the reason why we're also extending the patio to really make the center of the house the focal point. And we think by adding, we didn't build to the same scale that on the left side, so we think it does add the look to really make the center of the house the focal point. And we think it actually makes the house look nicer by adding it in.
So you're not willing to redesign per their
We did look at we have the, what he referenced as far as the guidelines, and we looked at
The
a
massing?
lot, yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of what they mentioned, and we're within, the guidelines, and we matched with materials and design of what the house actually existing, so that it doesn't, it all looks seamless, and then, as you said, adding the front porch center actually brings the focus back to the center of the house, rather than kind of lopsided to the garage.
Any other questions? Questions for the deputy? Gotcha.
Yes,
You knew I was gonna get. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yes, with the gravel tile area, on the, sorry, let me just reference the correct plan here. The addition permit plot plan that was provided as part of the application, there's a proposed plan on it. There's the gravel tile area in the back. Under the existing demo conditions, it says it's going to be removed. It's still, the label still shows up on the proposed plan. I understand it's going to be removed. I just want to make sure that that
No,
label is
it's not.
incorrect. Okay.
It's not
That,
gonna be removed.
yeah, that's the one, the survey company
Okay.
had put to be removed
Oh,
on there,
okay,
but we would
okay.
like for that to stay, because that's what's
Okay.
keeping the water out of our house.
Okay.
So that's definitely something I would like
Okay,
to see
that's
added.
understandable. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear because I wasn't sure about
Scratch
that.
it.
So the slate patio will be removed. And and the lot coverage will be reduced.
That also, the survey company was wrong on that
Okay,
one too.
okay.
So we'd like to keep both, because
I see.
the water from our neighbor,
Okay,
all of their gutters pour right into the patio, and so the patio actually disperses the water
okay.
into the gravel side.
Okay, so you will be providing, so let's see, you have, with the porch and the dwelling, it looks like easily
We're
over
still
300
under.
square foot. Oh, you're still under?
We're still under in lot coverage even with that, yeah.
Well, you're under the lot coverage, I'm sorry, but for stormwater management, you're looking like you're over the 300 square feet, which is the ordinance requirement
Okay.
for including stormwater management, and that should just be a condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with anything water, having a stormwater management plan to
Yes,
make sure
that-
that
Yes.
that happens for the new
Okay,
part of
we're
the house.
adding a condition here, I can see
Okay,
it.
yes.
Yep.
All right. I apologize, I was a little confused before, so I wanted to
No,
read
that's
Sorry,
it.
sorry.
Yeah.
We all were.
All right,
I'll blame the
I just
survey
want to
company
get
for
it
that.
clear in my mind. Are we going to take care of all of the current non-conforming areas and issue variances for them all so that they can use them forever? Or are we just going to leave them alone?
I believe that's what I was hearing from the board.
I'd be
is that we-
I'd be happy to cover them all.
Cover them all.
Same here.
Cover them all?
But,
Cover them all. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No more trips. Okay, any other any questions for the applicants from the public? Okay, any,
I think we have one over there.
Question?
oh, come on, question, please come up. Please state your name and spell your last name.
Yeah, Bernard de Guzman, Deguzman, 7 Webster, Summit.
Okay.
But anyway, so you're proposing to build a 2-story addition on the right side of your house, okay? Because you already have that white set up on the left side.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's just what I wanted to get clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the public? Okay, while you were standing, I should ask, is there any public members who have any comments to make about it? You want to share their opinion? Okay. Seeing none. Last comments from you before we go to conditions and deliberations.
No, thank you for your consideration and for also for talking about including all the variances, because that'll make it easier in the future. But we're definitely excited, love the house, and this would make it our forever house. So hopefully you take that into consideration.
Okay. Conditions.
We have
I knew I'd remember what comes next.
We have 3 of them. First is compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum. Second is that the applicants will consult with the city forester regarding the replacement landscaping on the Madison Avenue side of the home, and the replacement landscaping shall be subject to the city forester's review and approval. And the third condition is the applicants will submit a stormwater management plan to the board engineer for review and approval.
Okay, who wants to kick it off?
I can.
Okay, please do.
I can see this hardship because of the shape of this property and the existing conditions also. So I certainly think this is a good solution, and I support this application.
Okay, on this end.
I just add, you look at this lot, and just building on what Mr. Malay was saying, there is no place you can put this without triggering some sort of variance. Maybe you could do it in the front, but you'd hit the front yard setback.
Yeah.
And it would look sort of ridiculous if you were jutting out that close to the curb line. So, given it improves the usability of the property, I'm in support. And, the other existing nonconformities have been in place for a number of years without any detrimental effect on the neighborhood. So I think that speaks directly to the negative criteria or lack thereof. So I'm in support.
Scott?
Yes, I have to say that I believe it was highly problematic that your architect was not here tonight. And I know that's not your fault. I'm not gonna hold that against you, but he did you a big disservice, because I think we could have used that expert testimony to talk through some complicated issues with the setbacks and to address the comments from the HPC. I'm bewildered why he decided not to come, but I agree with my colleagues. I think really you were challenged by the site. I think what you're asking for is a very modest but addition that's going to transform the house, and there's really no, as David said, there's no other place for it. So with that, I can be in support of this application.
Anyone else? You want to wrap it?
Can I add to that? I agree with you. I think the architect definitely did a disservice here. I think it would have answered my question a little bit better. A little bit more restraint than the 16 feet. I think looking through that, I can see some proportionality. But if that was able to be shrunk at all, and walking through the design of why exactly that needs to be that way, would have been a question for the architect to truly handle. But given the lot, I get it. I get the layout, it's a challenge. So, despite the architect not being here, I'm in support.
May fire our architect, but
You might want to tell him to watch this on YouTube.
I will definitely.
That
do
puts
that.
you out of it. Wally, you want to wrap it?
Sure, I'll comment to defend the architect. Seeing as how we're all likely to approve this application, seems like the architect was on point. Having said that, no, it's a hardship. You guys are willing to work with the forester, and you're clearly speaking to the HPC comments. So I really do think you're doing the best that you can with a very tough lot. And I will disagree with Ms. Toth about worrying about the bedroom and
The kids.
the front door. But that doesn't have to be a condition. So yeah, I mean, I would approve this, obviously.
Your children are younger.
They are.
I'm going to jump in just because I love it when I get to describe a lot as wackadoodle. And sort of following up with Mr. Leukitz's comments and maybe trying to spin what HPC is saying, the fenestration on the front of the house is bonkers. Fenestration being windows and the way they're placed and their design and things like that. And perhaps if your architect could make them more coherent, it would go a long way to answering the HPC's concerns. But
Okay.
that's not going to change my vote.
He was designing that during this hearing, that's why he couldn't be here.
Let's hope so.
Well, you guys held your own.
Thank you.
Yes.
Architect or no architect, thank you very much for all your input and your, you told us the way it is, and that's important. And you've covered a lot of the issues that we need to know about. Water, the negatives, you're not affecting any of your neighbors. If anything, by keeping some of the variances in place, they're gonna be happier with certain things the way they are, because it's better for them. So I think on all points, we want to go ahead and approve this if we can, and we would look for a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Somebody want to move it?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we have a second?
For a second.
I'm sorry. See, I almost lost it. Go ahead, if you would.
Sure. Vice Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Mullen,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Loikitz,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Mr. Feskins.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. We're going to take a 5-minute break before we get to the last.
Thank you
bit.
very much. I'm gonna go yell at my architect. Thank you.
Okay, hello and welcome back. We are ready to proceed with our last case at 126 Canoe Brook Parkway, please. And we will swear you in.
Okay. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Felix Yan, Y-E-N.
Thank you.
Okay, please explain why you're here and what you're looking for from the board this evening.
I'd like to say my wife, Lucy, wants very much to be here, but unfortunately, she was just discharged from Overlook over the weekend, so physically, she's not able. But my son and my daughter-in-law, John and Heather, they're here, okay?
Well, our best wishes for a speedy recovery.
It's been tough, it's been tough. My wife and I, we met in the 70s in Boston, and with 2 children, Stephanie, my daughter who's in Utah, and our son John. He has been with NBC Sports for 13 years, and just got married to, he and Heather were married last August. Heather is with Goldman Sachs about nine years. They're currently living in Brooklyn. Lucy and I, we moved to Summit 2010, and we bought an older home built in the 50s, and we renovated it. And it was quite exciting then. We had a raised ranch type of open space format. So we thought we found our dream home. But as we get older, we realize that it has too many steps for us. So we started, last fall at this time, I had trouble with sciatica and I couldn't really walk. So Lucy and I, we started discussing as to what we need to do to find another house that has less stairs. Right now, we have kind of 3 floors and open space. So we don't have, Lucy works kind of in the living room and I work in my bedroom. So in the meantime, John and Heather, they're discussing, starting a family and about moving back into this area. So we just said, hey, what if we move out and you have to, you're looking for a place here, would you mind moving into this house? And I said, what would you need to make the house suitable for you? And they said, an office and especially a playroom to start a family. But with that, our previous renovation only left us 130 square foot to stay within the FAR. So, and also since we are trying to expand over the garage itself is within the rear, 6 inches, thereabouts, within the rear yard setback. So we have to come here and ask for relief. We love the neighborhood, Canoe Brook. People are very nice, they walk, and when we see neighbors, when we're walking our dogs, seeing the neighbors that we don't know, we can smile and stop and say hi. And these days, 2-3 years, started recently, younger people, families have moved in. And every morning, we see children bouncing, going to Washington School with their parents in tow. So it would be very nice if Heather and John would be able to start the family here in Summit. So that's why we're here.
Okay. Questions for the applicant? Questions for the applicant? Questions from the public for the applicant? There's one member of the public left, so we still have any responses? Okay, questions from the board? Okay, and I gather then that your architect is going to carry most of the load in moving things forward, so we'll allow him to be sworn in.
I show them the easy part.
We'll see.
We'll see.
If you could raise your right hand and make sure you speak into a microphone. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matters, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Yes, my name is Tomas Bona, B-O-N-A is my last name, of Bon Art Architecture and Design
Thank you.
Services, and I testified on this board back in August.
I was just going to say it was relatively recently. Any changes to your credentials since the last time you
No
appeared?
changes to my credentials.
License is still in good
License is in
standing?
good standing.
All right. Any questions from the board, or would you like to accept them once again?
We'll accept them once again.
Thank you.
We are here in front of this board tonight, asking for the two variances that are identified in our zoning analysis. I'm just gonna say a few words about the property. It's a fairly square property with the house positioned very elegantly in the center of this land, and 10,000 square foot is required in this particular R10 zone. This property actually is in excess of its size. We're about 30% over on the overall lot size. So it gives the house a very elegant frontage, distance from the street, as well as good setback from on both sides and the rear. So when this house was originally constructed, it appears it has been built parallel to the street. That's why it looks a little tilted with respect to the rear yard property and the setback, and that creates one of the existing non-conformances, which is what you see also highlighted in our zoning analysis table, where 40 feet currently is required. We are observing about 35 of the existing corner, and then the way that the rear line of the house runs, again, house being parallel to the street, that the rear line of the existing structure crosses at some point closer to where the two-car garage is located. It starts crossing the setback and it becomes conforming. However, on the right side of the house, identified as our 19-foot yard side yard setback, we also have to observe the drainage easement. I'm not sure exactly when it was enacted with respect to the construction of the original house. However, for the addition that we're proposing over the garage, we are observing that both the drainage easement and the side yard setback. So obviously the 30-foot drainage easement is our largest constraint, and according to our early conversations with Ms. Anderson, the zoning office, she told us we can build over the garage. However, we cannot construct the addition within the drainage easement, and so we did fill in a portion of that area with our addition, not encroaching into the easement. So that addition is located over the existing garage. I'm going to flip for a moment to the second page, drawing Z2. That's also been submitted to the board as part of the application package. On this drawing, we have a lower level of the house, the basement level, and also the front elevation. On this front elevation, the board members can see our grade profile. The site plan and the elevations were drawn based on the most current as-built site survey that had the full topographic information on it, so we were able to establish the added grade elevation. And so on the drawing number 2, on sheet C2, board members can see the profile of the terrain in the front of the house, the front elevation with its elegant, multifaceted and multi-volume portions of the house. And on the right side of this elevation, this is where we're showing portion of the second floor, the main level, that's being expanded over the garage, right here in the corner. There's front steps and steps leading down to the driveway. The driveway becomes a little narrower as it gets to the street, so everyone can see that actually portion of looking at the front of the house, a portion of the steps is actually covering the existing garage door. So with that topography, the existing structure sits really elegantly on the existing terrain, and it doesn't look oversized or overscaled. It blends in really well with the neighborhood and surrounding context and other residences. The other aspect that, the other variance that we're here for is the floor area ratio. According to my calculations, the existing residence falls pretty much within the 25% bracket allowed for the zone. That also includes the basement level portion of it that's located towards the back, not over the crawl spaces. It's also worth mentioning that the average calculated grade elevation is just about 7 inches shy of us not having to calculate basement towards FAR. So we're just a fraction of a foot. The average grade is just a little bit too low, so that the basement had to be properly included in the calculations. And judging by the set of drawings that the applicant had on the record from when the original expansion of the house was constructed about 10 to 12 years ago, the architect back then calculated more or less the house square footage in about the same manner as what my calculations and the verification of the existing field conditions proved to be at. I'm going to go back and explain a little bit why are we asking about the variance for the new addition. So this is drawing, this is sheet Z3 that was also submitted to the board, and we're drawing number 1, which shows the actual first floor plan, the main level of the house. Everything that's grayed out is existing, and the area that's not grayed out here is the addition that we're proposing to be constructed over the existing garage and completely within the existing building footprint. So this addition does not change or alter the footprint of the existing house. And the reason why we have this slight non-conformance here is because the house isn't parallel to the rear property line, it's parallel to the front property line. And I mentioned that before, that results of the back face of the house running sort of on the angle to the setback. So we're talking about the non-conforming, we're talking about the variance that is literally a small triangle all the way in the back, which is sort of nested between the existing building wall and it's on top of the existing wall below. And so it's more technical than visual in any way. However, it is a variance that we need to ask for. This addition is about 270 square feet, and it expands the space, the living areas of this main level, which the applicant mentioned. It adds area that's going to be defined as a play area, playroom for the new family. And also, there was a need for additional office, which we located towards the back of this addition. The existing roof, the existing hip roof that's over the garage here will be cut and will remain. That was visible on the front elevation. So we're really, and that portion of the second floor sort of existed as a projection of about 30 inches from the existing volume. So we are expanding the same profile, the same shape of the roof, the same finishes. It's completely blending in, filling in elegantly within the volume of the existing structure. And I think it also enhances the actual look of the house from the frontage because there was a much lower roof over the two-car garage, and now we're sort of adjusting the appearance of the house from this side. So I believe that this addition is contributing aesthetically to the overlook of this building. So the variance for the rear yard setback, we are proposing about 39.5 feet, where 40 is required. And as far as FAR, we are asking for approximately 1.7% increase over required 25% maximum FAR. ratio, floor area ratio for this property. And that brings us up to about 3,516 square feet, where 3,279 is required. I believe this is the bulk of our presentation, and I welcome any questions the board members may have. We also have a few comments from the city. I can
Okay,
go over them.
we'll start with Deputy and
Sure, very minor comments, just that any limit of disturbance for this addition, just, add the erosion and sediment control, measures as needed. And for the drainage easement, there's, we don't have the information as to what can be, on the easement, so if any construction, equipment cannot be placed within the easement, just confirm that. That's all there is from our end, yeah.
I wouldn't be the right entity to talk about it because I'm not a contractor who's gonna be doing work.
Right,
But
right.
there's a general driveway in front of the garage, also
Right.
on the side.
Mhm.
So I suspect that the contractor will be able to stage all the equipment and activities, without any disturbance of the existing
Great.
greenscape.
Okay.
And we're not indicating limit of disturbance because I don't believe that any land will be disturbed as part of this construction, since it falls completely within the footprint.
Okay.
And the contractor has access to the already paved areas in front of the building.
so do we need a condition on construction equipment? No?
As the provided testimony, that
Okay.
that won't be the case, yes.
Necessary.
Okay, board questions?
Yeah, just for completeness, I mean, we have the two variances Mr. Bonner mentioned, but our zoning report also mentions two existing non-conforming situations. We want to address those.
Right.
Similar to what we
Yeah.
just did in the prior application, the two additional existing nonconformities that were pointed out are building coverage at 18.1%, whereas 18% is the maximum there. And the existing rear yard setback to the existing patio of approximately 27 feet, whereas 40 feet is required for attached patios. So I get the sense that the board would like to address those and encompass them within this approval as well?
I'm seeing a lot of heads go up and down, so I would say yes.
Got it.
I hope that's acceptable to the applicant.
Thank you.
Okay?
I have just one question. If we were to take out the square footage for the basement, what would your FAR calculation?
The basement is close to 1,000 square feet.
So you'd be substantially
We will
under.
be substantially below, and again, we're talking about 7 or 8 inches that are calculated on every grade elevation that makes the basement fall within the requirements for everyone.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Anybody from the public wish to make a comment? I guess not. I'm gonna get him to look up at me yet. There he is.
He's with Colliers.
What?
He's with Colliers.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, and I'm just trying to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity. Okay, any final comments that you'd like to make to us before we go into deliberations?
No, we appreciate it, it's a long, I'm sure it's a long day for everybody, and we appreciate you, considering. And, we've been very happy in some, actually, of all the towns we lived in America, including Short Hills, Summit is the best.
Oh, well, you're approved. I think we're done here.
All those in, no. Okay, conditions.
Just our one usual condition, compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum.
Okay, who wants to kick it off?
I'll start. I don't really have a lot to say, but I mean, it's a small FAR variance, and it's, not complicated, but it's really caused by, the question that Mr. Likens asked about the basement, so that really, or Mr. Faskins, asked about the basement, so it's really, it's really a minimal FAR variance. Some of the other variants are existing non-conforming conditions. The forester had no concerns about screening. I know we're not supposed to take personal stories into consideration, but I like the personal story here. That's not why I'm in favor of it, but I think it's says a lot for your family and for Summit, so I'm glad to hear that.
Okay. Ellen? We're in deliberations, right? I wondered if you had anything to say. He's not gonna say anything.
I support this application. I have no objection. It's minor changes, and it would be a modification to the house. Would be better for the family. So there are advantages. I don't see any negative impact.
I have a personal story as well. I mean, it's nice to keep the family, and I walk by your house all the time, and actually asked you about gardening, your flowers. You have the most beautiful flowers in town. But I think what you're doing, and it's minimal to make your son and daughter-in-law comfortable in the house, so I would be in favor of this application as well.
I would just add, I think the applicant's personal story is relevant to the potential intensity of use of the property proposed by the increase in FAR. It seems evident that it can handle that increased intensity, or lack thereof.
Well, we, as the architect said, technical's the word here, I believe, because of the way the house is sited vis-à-vis the rear yard. You've just got that little sliver, and we certainly see lots where the basement has to be counted as a story above grade, although, yeah, you're awfully close. I think I've probably hit my quote of design police for the night. I think your roof lines are interesting. Not quite sure what it's gonna look like in real life, so that just might be something to consider, but it's not what we're here to discuss.
Okay. Wally, you wanna wrap it?
Sure, I think you touched on the appearance of the property, which is gonna be enhanced. I think the scaling in the area, I think a lot of people have kind of gone wild, and I think yours is very de minimis, and it's functional, and I think it speaks to the usage of your property going forward. I don't think there's any detriment, so I would be in favor of approving this application, yeah.
Okay. We would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Sulios?
Vice Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Ms. Newell,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Mullen,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Loiketz,
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We will move on to other things on our agenda. We have a couple of quickies. A resolution for an extension at 226 Hobart Avenue. You want to bring it up?
Yeah, sure. The applicants had submitted a brief request for an extension. Their approval expires in November. Relatively routine. This is their first request. It was so that they could refine their plans as they're completing their construction, the final phases of their construction. So, any questions from the board?
And it's their
Just a note
first.
that I'm recusing.
Got it?
Okay, and it's their first extension.
Yes.
First request.
I will too.
You're out?
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
Anybody else? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the extension.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Vice Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Ms. Newell,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Loiketz,
Yes.
Mr. Feskins,
Yes.
Mr. Yuko.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, we have minutes for approval.
Okay, so we have the minutes from September 13th. So we can do a voice vote for that, but we will exclude the members who were not present that evening, which were Mr. Malay, Mr. Loiketz, and Ms. Sager. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The next set of minutes we have is from September 18th, and we can do a voice vote, but we will exclude the members who were also absent that evening, which were Mr. Malay, Mr. Loiketz, and Ms. Sager. Can we have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, our next meeting is the special meeting on October the 11th on Kent Place School. And then our next regularly scheduled meeting is October the 16th. We are adjourned.